All right, let's get it started. The NBA Finals are back once again. As it does every year, it feels like the NBA season has just flown by. If we think back to the start of the season, I don't think literally anyone on earth would have predicted this matchup between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, thought that OKC would be here. But I think even the most optimistic Thunder fan didn't see this team as a 68-win team. I mean, that's insane. Only 6 other teams in history have had 68 wins or more. And if you include the playoffs so far, then that means that they have 80 wins and 18 losses. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is one of the best defensive teams in modern NBA history in the playoffs. And in the regular season, I mean, just one of the best defensive teams we've ever seen. And then on the other side, I mean, if you ask a Pacers fan in the first 2 months how they felt, they were 16 and 18 before the new year. This was a team that had a struggling Halliburton and a relatively poor defense. Since January 1st, however, these have been the 2 best teams in the league. And honestly, they've been the 2 best playoff teams as well, like both super consistent. And obviously, you imagine every year that the 2 best teams make it to the finals. But honestly, both of these teams have been really incredible and consistent in these runs so far. Oklahoma's toughest challenge of Denver really helped them shake some nerves off and really push their defense to the test. Meanwhile, the Pacers have had multiple comebacks and games won in the final minutes and seconds of games. I mean, they literally had a game. They had 3 games so far in this run where they overcame a 7-point lead in the last minute against the Bucks, against the Cavs, and against the Knicks. I mean, they have been just a ridiculous team to watch, super fun, and they just have a relentless offense. And Halliburton has really led this team as a superstar, and so has Shea. If we want to talk about superstars in the NBA Finals, we got 2 superstars. We got 2 very fun teams that I think are going to have a great series between each other. Is it going to be the longest series? I don't know about that, but this is a series between the immovable object of Oklahoma City's defense and the unstoppable force of the Pacers offense. Except we gotta, acknowledge the fact that OKC has the league MVP on their team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has had one of the most prolific scoring seasons we've ever seen for a guard. 32 points per game on 52% from the field. First team All-NBA, All-Star, MVP, scoring champion, and if he wins the Finals MVP, I mean, that's an elite category where very few players have ever gotten all of those in a single season. He had 72 games scoring at least 20 in a row, 49 games with 30 plus, and 13 games with 40 plus. This is a guy who leads the league in drives per game. Every single time he has the ball, you know where he wants to go, and you know how he's going to do it. And it doesn't matter what you do to try to defend him. He's going to get downhill, and he's going to score at the rim with elite efficiency. One of the best mid-range shooters in the league as well, and one of the smartest players in terms of drawing fouls. I mean, if you hate how Harden did it and how Embiid does it and Jalen Brunson, you're going to hate how Shai does it. But he's just one of the best in the league, and maybe the best in terms of being able to draw contact, being able to put defenders in such tough positions that they, as soon as he feels any sort of contact at all, he's able to put his body into it and score at the rim and get fouled at the same time. It is frustrating to watch sometimes, because sometimes it does feel like he's making up the contact, or it's not there, and definitely there are certain instances where that happens, but he is just the hardest player to defend in the league right now. I mean, the Wolves had Jaden McDaniels on him, one of the best perimeter defenders, a super tall, long perimeter defender, and he could not do anything. I mean, he got put in jail multiple times in that series. So yeah, we have Shai and his MVP offense alone for OKC and their historic defense. And on the other side, we got the Pacers, and they have it in their name. They push the pace. Subtle plug to the podcast that we haven't released a video in a while, but Pushing the Pace podcast, go subscribe to it. Hopefully we'll get an episode out during these finals. But yeah, the Pacers, they play at an extremely fast pace. They are always pushing the ball up the court off a miss, off a make or a turnover on anything, they are immediately pushing the pace. Halliburton has averaged 19 points per game and 10 assists per game since January 1st. He is the engine of their offense. Halliburton has 156 assists to only 31 turnovers during this playoff run. It's just incredible. He does not turn the ball over very much at all. He can make any pass, and this has put the Pacers in a very frantic style of basketball where they immediately get into an action once they pass half court. There is no wasted time. They are always doing something, and if the first action doesn't work, they have a second, third, or fourth option. And there's always cuts. There's always moving off balls. There's always screens being set off ball. There's always something you got to look for the defense, and that is what has made them really difficult to guard against the Knicks and against the Celtics and even the Bucks. Like, they are just relentless on offense, and they have just been really, really good this playoff run. Super consistent. I mean, if there's one thing that they have their offense. However, this is where the unstoppable force of their offense meets the immovable object of Oklahoma's defense. They play defense in a very similar way to the way that the Pacers play offense. They are relentless. They are busy. They are always doing something. There's always some action going on. They are constantly poking and reaching into driving lanes. They are very physical on post-ups, attacking over screens. They don't let up on anything. They'll switch if you want to switch, but they got like very good defenders at every single position. They close out hard. They have Lou Dort, who made all defensive first team. They have Jalen Williams, who was all defense second team. They also have Chet Holmgren, who easily would have been all defense first team if he played enough games this season. Just an absolute monster defending the rim. And then Alex Caruso, who has made all defensive teams in the past, didn't play enough minutes during the regular season, but he has been an absolute defensive monster this playoffs. He has 28 steals alone. They also got Cason Wallace, who's an elite perimeter defender. Shea is a great defender. Isaiah Hartenstein. Like, I just named their starting five, and I don't know, one or two players off the bench who are just absolutely they are all positive defenders. All, like, this is an all defensive team by itself, pretty much. The main two stats that I'm going to be looking for in this series are turnovers and 3-point made. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff you can look at: points in the paint, not just turnovers, but points off of turnovers as well. That's going to be a huge stat. Like, if the Pacers do get turned over a lot, is their transition defense able to slow down any points off of those turnovers? Because that's really how Oklahoma just they thrive in turning the ball over. This is how they destroyed the Wolves. They turn the ball over, but then they run out in transition, and they always score off of those turnovers, which just, it gives them such easy baskets in the transition, and it leads to this avalanche of scoring, which is like, they turn you over, then you miss, then we got Shea going down, he gets an and one, or Jalen Williams or Chet does something. Chet and Jalen Williams both improved offensively in that Wolves series. So it's just really about turning the ball over. They have the highest turnover margin of any playoff team ever at the moment. Like, OKC doesn't turn their ball over, and they turn you over a bunch. I mean, they just destroyed, like I said, they destroyed the Wolves with this. They were punishing the Nuggets constantly with this as well. Indiana and Tyrese especially have been really good at not turning the ball over. They still make a ton of passes, and they thrive in transition as well. So in that sense, it's almost like they're both looking after the same things. Like, they're both either attacking the ball or trying to keep the ball as much as possible. Possessions as well, I think, will matter a bunch, because while maybe OKC does turn them over a bunch, like, will Indiana still be able to get more possessions in terms of offensive rebounding? I don't know, because OKC is not the strongest rebounding team of all time. But yeah, in this series, I feel like if OKC consistently turns them over more, they will win. Like, it's just very simple. Like, I think turnovers have been the biggest stat in the playoffs so far when it comes to OKC, and like in most teams in general. But it really is like, if you're turning the ball over, the other team, OKC in this case, makes you pay for it every single time. If the Pacers are able to limit those turnovers, they will have a chance. But it's going to be a really fun challenge to see like how far these teams are pushing each other offensively and defensively. And the other point I'd like to look at for this series are 3-point makes. Obviously, 3 is the name of the game in the modern NBA. And Oklahoma, their hounding perimeter defense and their elite rim defense, they allow a lot of threes in the corners. And this graphic by Todd Whitehead on Twitter shows the 3-point shooting difference between OKC and the Pacers. I mean, in these playoffs, the Pacers have been on fire. Like, everybody has been shooting crazy efficiently this whole run. They are shooting 3% better than the regular season. And on the other hand, OKC has been shooting relatively poorly compared to their regular season. So I think it's going to be a question as well if there'll be any regression or going back to the mean for OKC in this case. And if it does, then, I mean, it's going to get pretty scary if OKC starts to really hit their threes like that. Other than those two statistics, man, like, we're talking a lot about the Pacers offense and Oklahoma's defense. Like, those two are the strongest links in this series. But on the other hand, the Pacers defense in this series is their weakest link, and Oklahoma, their offense starts and ends with Shea. Obviously, like Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, they'll get their stuff in. You'll get an Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, they'll get their threes up. But it really starts and ends with Shea, and I really don't see how the Pacers are going to be able to stop Shea. Like, nobody can. And like, they can put Nesmith on him, but he's still recovering from like his ankle injury. I don't know if he'll be 100% by game 1. Nembhard is obviously an option, but we saw, like I just mentioned, we saw a much better defensive team who had better rim defense, better perimeter defense in the Wolves, and they got absolutely cooked. I mean, they have a problem with turning the ball over on offense, which definitely didn't help their defense. But in general, like, Shea had some of his best games against these Wolves. So I just don't see like how the Pacers can really do anything to stop Shea. Like, Jaden McDaniels, if he was on the Pacers, he would be the best defender by far. And yet he was still constantly getting in foul trouble or getting frustrated while guarding Shea. Because like I said, he's just so good at being able to create contact or putting the defenders in a tough spot. And he gets the benefit of the doubt with the whistle. I think the Pacers are just going to have to prey on defense. And I'll be watching very closely to see how they defend Shea. And if it'll be good enough. I mean, I don't know, one-on-one, they're not going to be able to stop him one-on-one. I think ultimately they're going to have to put 2 on him to force him to pass out, and dare Dort, Caruso, Wallace to shoot, Jalen Williams do something off the dribble, Chet Holmgren, you do something off the dribble, which those guys have shown in the Wolves series. Like, they will definitely attack off the dribble. So I think, honestly, like, it is going to be a pretty tough matchup for the Pacers on defense. Like, their defense has improved, and that's why I never really believed in them in the first place. Like, in the regular season, like, yeah, they're a great offense, but I was always worried about their defense. In the playoffs, their defense has been very good, but I just find it really hard for them to stop Shea. And it's not like it's their fault. Like, I don't think anybody can stop Shea and this offense with just the way that they attack and transition off of those turnovers that they make. Their defense puts them into their offense, and then their offense starts with the leading driver, the leading scorer in the league with Shea. Like, I don't know what you can do to stop that. Some other matchups I'm looking forward to is Pascal. Obviously, I think he'll be huge in this series against a Chet and iHeart, and hopefully he plays well. But, you know, for this series, I see it like this. Like, Oklahoma, they just have to keep playing like how they always have been playing. Elite, all-worldly defense with an MVP scorer. And the Pacers, they need like a higher power. I don't know if it's God or they need the devil. I think the Knicks and the Cavs and the Bucks would say they got the devil on their side. Either way, I'm going with OKC in 5. I think this series is still going to be very fun. You have 2 teams that haven't made it this far, like in the finals, in 12 plus years for OKC and 25 years for the Pacers. They both have young teams, young all-stars, and young superstars, basically. Small markets as well. I think that's very exciting. Neither of these franchises have ever won a championship. Like in less than 2 weeks, a new franchise, a new championship is going to be on a new franchise, and I think that's just super exciting as well. Like I've been talking about their play styles. Like they both play a very frantic style of defense and offense respectively, and I think that's really where the matchups are going to go, and like that's really where we have to break down. That's where the game is going to be won, is for offense on for the Pacers and defense for OKC. Because if the Pacers are able to offensively like keep playing the way that they do, and the Thunder somehow can't keep up, then this is going to be a much longer series and closer series. But if OKC, if their defense is just going to keep bullying the Pacers like they bullied everybody else in the league, I don't know what you can say to that. I think it's really going to be hopefully a close series, but not going to be a very long series. I do also hope that the Pacers win one of the first 2 games, because that'll be much more interesting than 2-0, because at that point I think we're all going to know that the Thunder are going to win. But hey man, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm very excited for these finals, and yeah, take care.